I've never related to another character as quickly as I have with Frieren. I think my introduction to the anime was much the same as most people's, in that I found a clip on one of several social media feeds. $5 as it was at the Friends fight with Lugnir, or Frieren's absolute slaughter of Ara, and decided it looked worth a try. Or you saw Pringus McDingus' animation, which is also valid.
Ara, crush your skull, thank you.
From what little I saw in those clips, I expected a more battle-heavy show, so I was absolutely blown away by the masterful levels of emotional storytelling and character work. I mean, don't get me wrong, the show has some absolutely gorgeous fights.
Then I'm going to ask that you protect me as well.
The elf can fly. How fun.
Zoltrak.
Frieren. That spell is mine.
But its true strength lies in quiet, emotional interaction. It's very quickly becoming one of my favourite anime of all time, though I suspect it's for different reasons than for most people. And so I want to make a quick video to really articulate my feelings on the subject. And for the purpose of transparency, I'm watching the dub, and at time of writing, I've only finished up to episode 18, so that's the perspective I'm coming from. Also, minor spoilers ahead, you've been warned. For a quick summary, Soso no Frieren, or Frieren after Journey's End if you prefer, is the story of the titular Frieren, a 1,000-year-old elf mage, and it follows her life after the world-saving adventure with a group of legendary heroes who slayed the Demon King and brought about an age of prosperity. And Frieren is the most relatable character I've come across, but that's mostly due to my unique mental circumstances. Allow me to explain. See, relatability is one of the most subjective things in the world. Contrary to popular belief, you don't actually need relatability to make a character good, but it offers a unique shortcut for connection to the audience, and you can never really be sure what will make someone relatable to someone else. In fiction, it's honestly probably only 20% writing skill and 80% viewer empathy. More empathic or emotionally mature people can find smaller things in characters to relate to, or find similarities in experiences that aren't quite one-to-one and still connect to a character with ease, while less empathetic or the emotionally stunted will struggle if they don't see someone just like them. Turning Red was actually a pretty good example of this. I found that I related to Mei Mei fairly easily. I might not be a preteen Chinese Canadian girl with a boy band obsession, I never was any of those things, but I know what it's like to be obsessed with something to the point that it feels like an integral part of yourself. I know what it's like to feel alienated by your parents, and I know what it's like to seek refuge in a few select people that really get you. Certain other people didn't feel the same and hated the movie for a lot of reasons that had almost nothing to do with the film itself, and almost everything to do with either their own stunted emotional growth or lack of empathy, and also a lot of racism. But Frieren, I relate to her on a primal level, and while this is going to sound weird, it's because Frieren feels accidentally coded to be autistic. Again, let me explain. I've only really brought it up in passing, but I've been diagnosed with ADHD, major clinical depression, and autism, and it's this last one that makes all the difference here, because this is one of the first times I've ever felt like I'm seeing this part of myself on screen like this. See, autism really isn't understood very well by most people. There's a sort of vague collective idea of what people think an autistic person looks like, but that's basically just a caricature. The things most people associate with autism, heightened aggressiveness, certain looks and sounds, ideas about intelligence, etc., are stereotypes that often stem from autistic people in emotionally extreme circumstances. Honestly, the idea that most people have about autistic people comes from when they're upset, and only from when they're upset. Autistic people are widely varied, and while there's some truth to some common beliefs, the issues that most autistic people share are social, and honestly, I see a lot of my own symptoms in Frieren. Frieren struggles to understand and relate to people, but this doesn't come from being cold or emotionally unavailable. She, like me, struggles with realizing or even identifying unspoken intent. A common issue for autistic people is the struggle to understand what other people are thinking or feeling, and a lack of awareness in shifts in emotion or behaviour. See, the thing about most people is that they're socially trained to behave certain ways. Groups collectively and silently punish undesirable behaviours and reward desirable ones through social interaction, and as you grow, you learn to read these reactions and tailor your behaviour accordingly. Most rules of social interaction are entirely unspoken. They're just things you're expected to pick up on and understand, and most people do, but autistic people can't do that, at least nowhere near as naturally as other people can. The unspoken is often entirely unnoticed by us. And so when we mess up, we very often do not detect the change in the other person unless it's directly stated to us, and it almost never is. And so we grow up repeatedly getting confused by why people are so angry at us over something they won't explain. Because to them, we should already know what we did wrong. But for us, we have no idea and no way of knowing, because people don't actually explain them. There are multiple times in each episode that Frieren just outright doesn't detect what's being unsaid by other characters. When Himmel responds to her comments that they should meet up for the next meteor shower in a better place, a normal person probably would have picked up on the fact that he doubted he would live that long. It's a once every 50 years event, which means nothing to her as an elf, but for a human like him, well, it carries a very different weight to it. Or when Hyder asks her to take Frieren under her wing and she refuses, he immediately asks her to translate a tome that might contain a spell that could extend his life. And she takes him at his word when he says, "No, really, I'm actually terrified of death. But if you could also find the time to train Frieren to a powerful mage while you're doing that, that'd just be swell." And neither she nor I picked up on the unspoken connotations the first time around. And this happens all the time. Frieren also laments the fact that she never took the time to truly know Himmel before he died. And the thing is, she's the only one who really struggled with it. The entire rest of the party knew her and her mannerisms by heart. But she was also honest about herself, straightforward and even blunt. Through flashbacks you can see Himmel was in love with her, but he never said it out loud, and it's only through the context of the present that she begins to retroactively understand the meanings behind his words and actions. And good God, it hurts to be called out like this. Even while writing this, I'm finding things that I missed that should have been obvious the first time around. I am, and always have been, painfully dense when it comes to things like flirting. No joke, I've had to be told more than a dozen times after the fact that someone was flirting with me or interested in me, something that everyone on the sidelines could see, but me, the person getting blasted in the face with romantic subtleties, couldn't pick up on it. Two of my friends once started dating each other, and I didn't realise it until a month later after they straight up told me. And these were friends I hung out with multiple times a week. One of them had even sought my advice on asking the other out, and I still didn't fucking put the pieces together. And for the record, I'm not claiming my experiences are universal to all autistic people, but I keep finding more and more of my own habits and issues within Frieren, and I know all of this is completely unintentional. Frieren's simply written to be detached and socially awkward, but it's done in such an accurate way that I can't ignore it. Even the way she talks to people reminds me of my own situation. There's this common attitude that autistic people aren't good at communicating, but the way we see it is the other way around. We are open and honest, often to a fault, saying what we intend without double meanings, without unspoken subtleties, and quote-unquote normal people seem to struggle to just say what they mean in the first place, even if their most important relationships are on the line. And the thing is, we can learn these social skills. Contrary to what Autism Speaks says, and they're a hate group by the way, never give them money, we can improve. We just need people who are patient and willing to teach us. And honestly, that's one of the most beautiful things about the show. Frieren's companions are patient with her. They understand that she struggles to connect to people, to read deeper meanings and to fully comprehend the passage of time. Another issue I struggle with. They understand that she's different and they love her for it. It's something so simple and beautiful, and it reminds me of my own friends. The people I've surrounded myself with who try their best with me because they know I'm trying my best as well, and that's all any of us can really do. Finally, I want to talk about the demons and what makes them so truly monstrous. The demons in Social no Frieren are violently dangerous creatures, capable of immense destruction and death, but what makes them truly dangerous is their understanding of humans. And honestly, while I could tell you all about them, I think this one scene will tell you everything you need to know.
You must slay this devil! It's only a child.
No! Don't be fooled by its appearance! It ate her! My daughter is dead! Swing your sword!
It hurts. Make it stop. Please, Mommy.
Step away. I'll handle this.
Kill her, and we'd be no better than them. My friends, surely this scared little girl can eat what we do in order to survive. Why don't we give her the opportunity to atone for her mistakes?
No, Chief, you can't!
Are you crazy? It took our daughter! I'll never hold her again!
Here, let me tend to your wounds. You're in luck. I've been looking for somebody to help out around the farm.
Himmel, you're going to regret not killing this girl, this demon.
She's here. Why don't you speak to her and see? We'll be in this village for some time anyway. We might as well try.
Fine.
Why did you murder the village chief?
We should have killed it at once. These monsters cannot live among us.
There it is again. Every day since I came here, I've felt your desire to kill me. But I just wanted to live in harmony. I figured out a way to make things right. Here, take this child as a replacement for your offspring. The one I ate.
That girl is the daughter of the village chief.
Yes, but he isn't alive anymore. Despite my good intentions, it seems as though I've unfortunately made another mistake. You've given me no choice. I'm taking this child hostage.
You won't stop me again?
No.
Mommy, please.
Why call out to a mother? Demons are monsters, and like all monsters, they don't raise their young. Once born, you are abandoned. You walk this world alone. That makes you ruthless, solitary creatures. Lone wolves with no concept of what family means. Explain. Why would you call out to a mother you've never known?
It's simple. That word stops humans. It keeps them from murdering us. Isn't that magical?
Demons are what most people think sociopaths are. Dangerous, unfeeling things that wear the guise of humanity and wield emotion as a weapon against real people, but unable to truly be human themselves. And for the record, that's not remotely true about anybody with sociopathic tendencies. Give them a break, please. The demon understood the idea that a child is important to a parent, but was incapable of understanding the emotional connection there. They manipulate humans via their empathy to kill and eat them, and although they're not the only monsters that prey upon humans, they seem to have evolved specifically to prey on us. They even take great pride in the ability to do so. But ultimately, Frieren is a story about connections, and about how our relationships to and memories of the people in our lives shape who we are and what we'll grow into. And I think there's a sort of tranquil beauty in a story of someone so very different from the people around her being loved, not in spite of, but because of her differences. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Thank you for listening, and I hope you're all doing well. Goodbye.